So last year sometime, because I was on this kind of digestive recovery diet, I had to essentially eat just meat, plants, and fat. So I couldn't have any carb sources to kind of starve that bad bacteria according to the biochemical explanation. And I found myself getting the worst cravings of my life. And I'm not usually a person that gets a lot of sugar cravings. And because my body was craving that sugar, I found constant cravings all day long. Now in today's video, I want to share with you 3 of the most proven ways that I've found, as well as backed by science, you can use to stop sugar cravings, whether you're doing something like I am, or if it's just day-to-day sugar cravings. What's up guys, it is Alex Hine here, author of Master the Day. Now the very first thing that I find is pretty common is what I call the availability trigger. And it's kind of like if you're living at home, like when I was living at home 5 or 10 years ago, and my mom would always buy the cookies and she'd store them in the pantry there. Well, you're not necessarily craving sugar, but there's not much going on and you just kind of pass by, like when you go to the fridge, you pull it open and you're just standing there, you don't really know why you're there, and you just decide to eat something. For me, the availability trigger is simple. It's just because sugar's there and it's available, and therefore once you see it, you're like, oh, that looks good. So it triggers a little bit of that little, just that twinge of a craving. And then obviously when you start eating sugar, then you want more of it. And I don't know about you, but I've never just eaten one Oreo. So that should say something. The first is the availability trigger. The way you prevent the availability trigger is making sure there is not anything that's sugar related near you. Now, this is a lot harder when you live with other people. It's a lot harder when you don't live on your own. For example, if you're at college, you can do this. If you're just living with one other person, you can do this. But if you have a family and your boyfriend or girlfriend, your husband or wife, if they're constantly buying this stuff, like if it's for themselves or if it's for the kids or if it's for something else, it's very, very hard to actually show restraint. What I personally do is I will let myself have sugar outside of my house, but I will not buy it because, like, for example, yesterday was the first day I actually bought sugar. I bought these healthy Oreos, they're called Numinos or something like that from the health food store. There's no difference, it's sugar. And already in the first night, I'm eating way more than I naturally would just because it's there. So I just start thinking about it because it's there. But when I have nothing in my house, it's easy to avoid. Now the second sugar trigger is typically the boredom trigger. This is really, really common, especially when I work with clients that are busy professionals, because 9 out of 10 times they're bored at their job. They're not really that engaged. They're not that thrilled or just kind of, jazzed by getting up for work every day. So when they're sitting around at 2 p.m. working on the stupid spreadsheet that they don't want to be working on, well, they get a little bit bored. And when we get bored, we're like a little bit listless. We're looking around. We're like, I just want to do something. We start Googling stuff, going on YouTube, going on Facebook. This is a perfect time for the boredom trigger to come in. The foolproof way that I've found to figure out if it's a boredom trigger or not is that index card exercise I talked about. Carry around an index card, a little sticky note, your phone, something like that. And all you do is write down when you get a craving, what you were just doing and how you were just feeling. And what I found is that most of the time for people that have boredom triggers, it's I'm bored studying if you're a student, or I'm bored at work, or it's 9 o'clock, it's after I've already eaten, I'm just sitting watching TV, flipping through the channels, I just want something to eat while I'm watching TV. So those are really dead giveaways as far as if you know it is a boredom trigger. Now the very third trigger I find is the most common. Again, these are the 3 most common. This is not supposed to be an exhaustive list by any stretch, just the most common that I see in everyday people. Third one is obviously stress. It's pretty common here for students because we're all medical students now. Everyone's putting in crazy hours, and what I found is that most of the time you'll find students saying things like, around the finals week, oh, I just really deserve this and needed a little bit of relief. And then it's a picture at a pie shop, like a huge, thick piece of cake or pie. The stress trigger is very common. You get off of work, you get out of class, you're like, oh, Jesus, I need to do something relaxing. And then that piece of cake or that pie, or maybe the double burger looks really, really good. Because again, it's that little sugar, that little dopamine rush. Oh, like, hey, now I'm in a good mood again. It's that little rush. And then obviously after that, sometimes it can lead to a big rush. They actually did a pretty cool study. I'll have to find the article or video where I talked about it, where they found that people midway through eating were more craving it. For example, they measured it in terms of the dopamine response, how much dopamine was released, more so than before when they were hungry. So when we ate, then that cycle begins going and really accelerates. That's what I find is pretty common with sugar as well. So the third one, obviously being stress eating, the way you conquer the third one is by understanding yourself, really, for lack of a better word. If you're constantly getting stressed out about something, for everyone it's different. Some people drink more coffee when they're stressed because it's like the comfort food. Some people eat sugar. Some people do drugs. Some people do prescription drugs or illegal drugs. Some people, they sleep a long time. Some people go work out. You have to understand yourself, your own unique coping mechanisms, as well as when it comes back to understanding yourself, understanding that maybe you as an individual, your primary coping mechanism is eating. And that's fine, but it's definitely, you need to have insight surrounding that so you know how to actually conquer that. So those are my 3 strategies that I found will knock out 90% of sugar cravings I find in clients. Before you go, leave a comment right there below. Let me know for you, do these 3 apply? And if so, which one? Hey guys, it's Alex. Did you like this video? If so, there are really 2 ways you can stay in touch with me. The first thing is to go over, click the monk, and subscribe so you get the next video right when it's out. I'm releasing at least 3 videos per week, but often a lot more. The next thing is, come on over and check out my book, Master the Day. It's called Master the Day, Eat, Move, and Live Better with the Power of Daily Habits. And it's all about the tiny daily success habits that I learned interviewing people that lost over 100 pounds and kept it off years later in a healthy way. The success habits that not only get your dream body, but also your dream life. And as a special thank you, if you get the book, send me your receipt to alexander@modernhealthmonk.com. I'll send you a 1-hour bonus video course for free. And one important piece of it is an hour sit-down success story with my friend and my student Mike, who lost 30 pounds. So you can go check that out on Amazon right there. The next thing is, come on over to my site, modernhealthmonk.com. I've got a free guide for you there, 5 daily habits to help you lose your next 20 to 30 pounds. And otherwise, I look forward to seeing you soon.